Hey there everyone, welcome back to my channel and to a new video. So in today's video, I'll be continuing my Would They series, I guess you could call it. For the second episode, we have Elster, from the indie sci-fi horror Signalis. This may be a returning series where I take characters from different but similar IPs and see how they fare in different settings. So if you guys would like to see a certain lineup, don't hesitate to comment down below. Now before we actually get into the video, I wanted to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone. My last video about if Isaac could survive in Lethal Company was my best video to date. It had the most viewer retention, had the most likes, most views, and the most comments. And as I currently speak and create this video, it's growing. I honestly cannot say thank you enough. I love reading what everyone else's opinions were on the topic. I even changed my mind in some aspect, which I'll cover in just a second. I was also pleasantly surprised that the video found its way into the Dead Space fans' hands. I love the series and I'm happy to hear that the video found its way to you guys. So about how some of you changed my mind. Godly Kumach. Godly Kumach 167. Sorry if I butchered your name. He wrote a very decent paragraph giving his 2 cents on why he thinks Isaac would fare way better than what I gave him thought for. Godly mentioned how Isaac would be much more cautious and wary about the ceilings and all of his surroundings, since necromorphs are nimble and great climbers. They also mentioned how some necromorphs are just plain stronger and faster than some of the monsters from Lethal Company, and Isaac takes them out no problem in his games. Another commenter, Theod, Theod8114, apologies again, brings up how competent Isaac truly is across the games. He has proven himself capable and he's quick thinking in panic-inducing situations. They also bring up that Isaac would probably not be alone and he would have a crew with him, which I do agree with. I didn't give him a crew and I didn't really think about that. Though I'm sure with Isaac's luck, they would slowly be picked off one by one. But still having a group in the beginning would shoot Isaac's chances of success way up. Those are only 2 comments of all the dozen other ones that were there. So once again, thank you so much for those who left a comment and who are still leaving comments. They were fun to read and discuss. So with all of that said, if you're a returning viewer from the first episode, hi. And if not, hi. Today we'll be seeing if the Replika with no quit in her name is able to reach the end of a certain season-long contract. Could Elster survive the contract from Lethal Company? So just like last video, I'll do a quick overview for both Lethal Company because I want to change how the contract worked a little bit, and of course, Elster from Signalis. If this video ends up being like the first one, and the fact that the video actually ends up into the Signalis community's hands, I just want to state right now that I have beat the game. I've also watched a 1-hour-long lore video. However, the game is still confusing to me, and I won't know 100% of the lore and accuracy of what I'm about to say. So I ask if you're a huge fan of Signalis and know it head to toe and in and out basically, please leave down any corrections or info I need to know down below. All I ask is you do it politely and know that I do not mean to spread any misinformation about the game. Like before too, if it's a major correction, I'll pin it. Signalis was a sleeper hit for me from 2022. For me, honestly, I think it was probably Game of the Year, as I cannot think of another game that came out the year that probably topped it. I could give nothing but praise and positive comments about the game. The survival horror gameplay was great, very reminiscent of Resident Evil. The game also wears its inspirations on its sleeve. It could be a mismatch of Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Lovecraft, Evangelion, and so many others as well. Here are some good reviews left by some people that talk about just that. So the story may have been confusing in the deep lore aspect to me, but you could still understand the main plot of Elster and Irene, the 2 partners who desperately wanted to see one another but ultimately couldn't. This will be as far as I go in the actual main story spoilers, as I still do recommend everyone who watches this to go play the game. So as for revising the contract, upon a fresh mind and a set of eyes, I completely miscalculated the quota mark at the end of the 90 days. I also completely overestimated Isaac's required quota, so I'll do the math this time just for proofreading. So we'll take the original 130 starting quota, and we'll still add the additional 50 quota per successful 3-day venture. So to determine how many times quota will increase, we divide the 90 days by 3, since that's how long we have to reach quota, and the total comes out to 30. So with quota increasing only $50 every 3 days, we just multiply the 30 days with the $50, so we get the total of $1,500. So with quota only increasing by $1,500 plus 130, the total amount of money you would need to collect in cash, $1,630 worth of items. And obviously that is super easy. So we'll be taking the 50 and timesing it by 10, making every quota increase by 500 now, putting the total amount of money needed at 15,000 by the end of the 90 days. This still seems sorta low considering it's 90 days, but this seems more fair and actually gives us a base to make the scenario with. The 90 days with the extra 6 will remain the same, the days in between the quota refresh is also the same, so the only thing we change is the quota amount. Now, with all that explained, let's talk about Elster, the Ryan Gosling for women. For most of this section, I will refer to the wiki to make sure I don't mistakenly get something wrong. Elster is an Elster unit replica within the Yushin People's Navy. Elster is a Generation 5 Cosmo Pioneer Specialist replica to specifically be used in assistance in orbital missions and reconnaissance missions. A little fun fact that is shown right here is Elster means magpie in German. The more you know. Elster's Gestalt, which is basically just a regular human, was a Vinitan soldier whose neural pattern was uploaded to the planet's central neural archive. The Yushin nation used her neural pattern to create the Elster Replika Unit. Her original neural pattern was lost after the central neural archive was destroyed, but the nation would use the neural pattern of the dead Elster unit to continue producing them. Elsters have a biomechanical with carbon fiber reinforced polyethylene shell and titanium skeleton frame, which sports a RLM or repair logic module. This module could be used by Elster units to easily repair themselves and crucial mission equipment. Along with the repair logic, Elster units can make use of coagulant K to thicken oxidant and reduce bleeding, as well as the construction foam or polyurethane resin found in repair sprays to heal and repair themselves. Elsters, like all other replicas, have oxidant blood and bioengineered flesh that is inedible for gestalts. And as I said before, gestalts refer to non-replica humans. But Elsters also have a heavy combat configuration, where they are armored with bullet-resistant blue and white plating over their chest and forearms. So from the little bit of what I just spoke about, it seems like Elster is already proving to be a very durable and methodical protagonist. So that is the basic gist of who Elster is. So now just to modify her just a little bit. For modifications, we're just going to have Elster use the basic skeleton she has in the beginning and first half of the game. She will still wear and have the Lethal Company orange worksuit over it, but however I can't remove her skeleton without causing a massive disadvantage for her. Similar to Isaac 2, her armory and weaponry, she won't be bringing any of that. No weapons, guns, or items from her game. She will only have what's available in Lethal Company. And as for the team size too this time around, I think Elster will be solo. Since majority of the game you're alone and only having brief moments with someone else that doesn't include flashbacks or memories. So with all that said, finally we come to the question yet again. Could Elster survive the season-long contract from Lethal Company? I don't think Elster would have any problems with the moon or terrain. However, she is made out of metal for the most part, so I do think that her weight might make her more susceptible to sinkholes and quicksand. Inside the facility, the gaps could pose a threat, as I said earlier, because of the weight, and however, landmines and turrets would still be a threat to her, but I bet she could take a couple hits from the turret more than a normal human could. Though the landmine, it's a landmine. She's gonna be blown to bits like a Lego. Last episode, I honestly forgot about the creatures outside, such as the worm, giant, dogs, and etc. So I will include them here and the ones I think that make sense. So in the last video, I actually only went over the monsters that I think could kill Isaac. And similar here, I'm going to be doing this for Elster. Once Elster makes it inside, I honestly only think the Bracken, Nutcracker, and Ghost Girl could honestly do anything. Everyone knows the Bracken, comes up from behind, snaps your neck, it's its bread and butter. Elster, even though being a robot for the most part, she would still die to a neck snap, I believe. Nutcracker as well, just for the fact that it has a shotgun, and regardless if she might be able to tank a shot or two, a shotgun would kill you. Now, the one that I'm most interested in is actually the Ghost Girl. And I think that because I think it would be very curious to see how the encounter would go. Elster, I would say, is more susceptible to mental and existential crises. The psychological aspect of Signalis and its universe takes an immense toll on everyone there. Elster is set on her own path to find Irene, but not with her own hiccups and challenges. I think the Ghost Girl could really get under her skin and lower her guard down to a certain degree. I do still think, though, that Elster would avoid the girl at any cost, even if she reappears multiple times, though I know Elster is somewhat curious, as just by design. But for whatever reason, if Elster is hesitant and lets her guard down, I definitely think the ghost could overwhelm her before she realizes what is happening. Now for the creatures outside, or creature I should say, is I only think one creature could. That would be the eyeless dogs. I think these would be a downfall for Elster just because of the fact that she's a robot, made out of metal, and metal makes a lot of noise, honestly. So I think she would make much more noise than a normal human would. I do think she might be able to keep on pace with a dog, but I don't think about outrun it. So I think she could run back to the ship or facility if she had to and there was a good enough gap. So with everything that I think could be an obstacle and or a hazard to her, I do think Elster has a decent shot at making it the full 90 days. If Elster can use her durability and armor to her advantage, she could easily clear out weeks. It probably sounds weird to say that I think she has a better shot than Isaac did, but at the same time, she's also a robot and it just comes down to I think a robot would be way more durable than a human would in this situation. That's not to say she doesn't have her weaknesses, as I said, but I do think she could handle more situations better, just given the fact that she is a robot. Such as the many situations where there might be multiple creatures that might be hazardous in certain pairings. Especially her durability and ability to basically heal quicker than humans. If she's able to maintain herself steadily, she could definitely wage the tide in her favor. I do believe Elster from Signalis would survive her 90-day contract. Hey there everyone. Thank you for watching all the way through if you made it this far. I hope the video was entertaining at least, and I do hope informative, as long as what I said was right. So just to repeat in the beginning, if I got anything wrong at all about the lore or the consistency of Elster and Signalis, please leave it down below. But not only just that, I would love to hear what your opinion and conclusions would be. Did I overlook a certain monster? Did I make the quota still too easy? Sound off in the comments. With all that said, just one more big thank you to everyone. My last video did super well, which doesn't guarantee any of my others will, but still, thank you guys so much for motivating me to continue these. Maybe we can make this a series for you guys. I hope you all have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye!